pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you call the roll, please?
Dean Cruz.
Here.
Kalinowski.
Here.
Ball. Here. Walker.
Here.
Steggy.
Here.
Brian Cruz.
Here.
Lachemski.
Here. Okay, on the meeting agenda for tonight, we have a presentation here under item A, Tom Kalina, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, sir.
With Friends of the Pool. Under communications, we have item A, correspondence from the City of Manistee. Item B is correspondence from Mike Zakola. Under department and committee reports, item A is the monthly operation services report, which I see is not in our packet. It's not on our desk in front of us. Item B, the sewer report, is in your packet. Item C, DDA, the director's report, is in your packet. Under item D, the Board of Review is not met, the meeting December 10th. Item E, Building and Grounds Committee, those minutes from the November meeting are in your packet. Item F, again, the Planning Commission meeting minutes for November in your packet. We do need to take action on the appointment of our board liaison to the Planning Commission. Item G, the zoning administrator's report is in your packet. Item A, the approval of application for residential land use permit form. That form is in your packet, as is item B, the permit form for approval of land use. Item H and I, Personnel Committee and Elections Commission, those committees have not met this month. I'm sorry, Elections Commission did meet. We have action to take on there, also an appointment of two trustees as members to the Election Commission for a 4-year term. Item J, the Fire Department report is in your packet, and we have action there also to take board liaison. And item K is the Zoning Board of Appeals did not meet this past month. Under new business, we have, and actually what I would like to do when we approve this agenda is to move Molly from item K up to item A, slide out all the others down a notch since she has to travel back home to Cadillac tonight. So I'm going to ask that we make that item A consideration of approval of the presented resolution establishing poverty guidelines for exemption from property tax contributions. And then that would make item B the supervisor's recommendation to approve the appointment of 2 planning commission members to serve a 3-year term ending December 31st. We had 2 applicants for 3 vacancies. That would make item C a recommendation by the supervisor to approve a planning commission member to be the liaison to the ZBA for a 3-year term starting January 1st, 2025, ending December 31, 2027. Item D then would be upon supervisor's recommendation, consideration of approval of the appointment of 1 member with interest in the property in the downtown Gordon district to the DEA to serve a 4-year term ending December 31, 2028. There was 1 applicant there with 2 vacancies, and actually there was 2 applicants for that. I got a application tonight from Bob Yates that he overlooked getting to me earlier, and I looked and I see that application was signed November 13th, which I think the 20th was the deadline. So I'm gonna add that in there as well. Item E would be upon supervisor's recommendation, consideration of approval of the appointment of 3 board of review members to serve a 2-year term ending December 31, 2026. There were 3 applicants for 3 vacancies there. Item F, again, upon supervisor's recommendation, consideration of approval of the appointment of 1 board of review alternate member to serve a 2-year term ending December 31, 2026. There's 1 applicant for 1 vacancy. Item G is consideration of approval of the presented ordinance enforcement and compliance policy. Item H is consideration of approval of the presented ordinance enforcement officer job description. Item I, discussion and possible action on code enforcement officer's hours, compensation, and cell phone, laptop and printer. Item J is consideration of approval of the presented DDA engagement agreement from Latitude 44 and owner Tamara Buswinka for a period January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025 in the amount of $25,000 to be paid in 4 equal payments as specified by contract. Item K, consideration of approval of a request from Linda DeVries to renew her rec center rental agreement for a 1-year period beginning January 1st, 2025, ending December 31, 2025, offering jazzercise, dance and exercise classes 3 days per week at a cost of $160 per month. Item L, consideration of approval of Filer Township / Manistee County Road Commission for road preservation projects with Filer Township contributing 1/2 of total cost. Item M is consideration of approval of mileage and accommodations for the Township Assessor to attend the December 17th, 2024 State Tax Commission meeting in Okemos. And that is for a hearing for air pollution control exemption by TES. And there's a letter in your packet that from the Department of Treasury, State Tax Commission, requesting that our assessor be at that hearing. I believe that was, December 17th. Item N is consideration of a proposed contractual services agreement whereby the County of Manistee agrees to provide the necessary personnel and computer services for tax map and assessment roll maintenance, tax rolls and tax bills under the current legal requirements to the Charter Township of Filer for the 2025 calendar year at a cost of $4.65 per parcel. Item O is consideration of the proposed contractual services agreement for summer tax collection between Manistee County and the Charter Township of Filer, whereby the County of Manistee agrees to provide the Charter Township of Filer with the necessary personnel, materials, equipment, and technology to prepare the summer tax billing for the state education tax 2025 collection at a cost of $1 per parcel. And item P is consideration of approval of a resolution of the Charter Township of Filer Board of Trustees pursuant to resolution number 2001-06A and 1954 Public Act 188 as amended, redetermining the total cost of services for the year 2024 and directing the supervisor to extend such costs upon the Horizon Point Special Assessment Role. If there are no other additions or changes to the meeting agenda for tonight, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I so move.
Support.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to approve the meeting agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Under the consent agenda for tonight, we have item A, minutes of the regular meeting held on November December 7th, 2024, with the correction to the consent agenda for sewer check numbers to read 1252 through 1253. Item B is the financial report. Item C is approval of the Township general fund expenditures, which includes the fire department, and those are checks numbered 42020 through 42110. Accounts payable totaling $20,532.93. Payroll totaling $20,147.44 for a grand total of $40,680.37. Item D is approval of water department expenditures, checks numbered 3320 through 3333, and they total $29,420.33. Item E is approval of sewer operating expenditures, checks numbered 1254 through 1257, totaling $16,298.09. Item F is approval of the monthly ACH payments to the state of Michigan and the IRS in the amount of $3,951.49. Item G is approval to give election inspectors and election assistants additional compensation in the amount of $75 per election for working an entire day and $37.50 for a half day worked during the 3 elections in 2024. Item H is appointment of Bob Scara, Tom Williams, and Jim Baroki to the Building and Grounds Committee for a 4-year term ending December 31, 2028. There were 3 vacancies there with those 3 applicants. Item I is appointment of Bruce Scara and Lynn Couyers to the Personnel Committee for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2028. There were 2 vacancies that those 2 are applying for. If there are no changes to the consent agenda, we need a motion for approval.
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion by Kolonowski, second by Stege to approve the consent agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. Any public comment tonight? Molly.
On the State Tax Commission, I just want to make sure, because after the poverty, I'm going to leave, that everybody understands that this is, they've appealed the State Tax Commission's opinion that the applications were incomplete. They've been sent back to Eagle, the company, and they are coming back before the State Tax Commission. So those dollar amounts on those exemptions will not be on the tax roll. The only thing that will be on the tax roll are things that they have put in the applications that the State Tax Commission will not allow them to have in Eagle. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, and our position is neutral, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Any questions of Molly on that? And that was supplied for back, I forget.
In the spring.
Yeah, it was in the spring. Yeah. Fairly substantial amount, but it's.
One was $212 million. But, I mean, you're going to be on the cutting edge of technology with carbon filtration. I mean, it'd be pretty neat when it's all done.
And you get to take a trip to Lansing.
I've never been summoned to the State Tax Commission before by an official letter.
Till now.
Till now.
Okay, thank you, Molly.
You had the other guy. He had his hand up.
Oh, I guess this is in regards to Friends of the Pool, so.
Yeah, and you're up for
I'm all
your
set.
presentation, so.
Okay,
Go
thank you,
ahead.
Mr. Walker.
He went under public comment.
Mr. Walker, board, citizens, my name's Tom Galina, and I want to thank you for the time to speak about our organization and the plight of the college pool. The mission of our group, Friends of the Pool, is to save the West Shore Community College pool from closure, which we anticipate to be mid-year 2025, after the renovation of a college campus recreation center. This renovation does not include the pool. For over a year, we have addressed the Board of Trustees at the college with reasons to keep the pool open for the community. You all are taxpayers, you're part of the community, and that's why we're here today. Our comments have fallen on deaf ears, and that is why we are here tonight, to bring this issue in front of the public eye. The pool has been around for close to 50 years. It was built back in 1975 and is in surprisingly good shape, but needs new plumbing and filtration systems. We have addressed the concerns of the college administration on why they want to close the pool. They say it's due to low pool use, maintenance costs, and lack of lifeguards. After COVID, many of the programs that the college had for the pool, swim lessons, open family swims, water aerobics exercise, and water safety programs were not restarted. Starting these vital programs would help with the cost of maintaining the pool and pool use. You have high schools with swim teams that would make great candidate for lifeguards, similar to what you have here with the Manistee Pool. We've used the school teams as lifeguards in the past. Why not now? The cost to renovate the pool is about $1 million and has been delayed since 2016. As a group, we voiced to the college trustees our disappointment that the pool is not included in the current rec center renovation project. The college has the resources. From the most current financial statements, the college revenues, our property taxes account for about 50% of the college's total revenue, exceeded expenses by $5.6 million for the year ending June 2024. The college has substantial cash reserves to dedicate to the pool renovation. Friends of the Pool has a second goal, and that is to assist the college with promoting programs that would benefit the community overall, especially with us being surrounded by water. Promoting swim and safety programs that benefit our youth is vital. Our elderly community is also in need of water, exercise, and therapy for chronic conditions. We as a group and representing the community are vehement about keeping the pool. Tonight we are asking for your help. In front of you have a flyer, and on the back of this flyer it says how to email the Board of Trustees. It takes about 5 minutes, we can give you a text for it. And if you want to put in your own personal experiences, you can. We're asking that you take 5 minutes. Fill this out, send it to TM Stadler, address is on there. We hope that the input from the community will place pressure on the board's decision to keep our pool open. Thank you for your time tonight. Are there any questions?
My wife was a water aerobics instructor and also a lifeguard down there until COVID shut it down. And I know getting lifeguards was extremely difficult, and there were times they couldn't be open because they didn't have lifeguards.
And that's true, but there hasn't been a real good program for promoting employment, especially with a lot of the kids there. The college at this point has kind of made a decision to close the pool. And for that reason, they really haven't asked for assistance getting lifeguards. We have a number of people with Friends of the Pool that have volunteered their time to be lifeguards, but we need more help, and that comes from the kids. And frankly, we're not even open on the weekends. That's when the pool's used by the community, and that's when kids can go ahead and work at the pool. And it would be a win-win situation. A lot of these kids are supporting cars and their friends, so it not only helps them, but it helps us out and the community with supplying that vital need for lifeguards. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, under correspondence, you have in your packet the letter from the city, notice of migration of contamination, documentation from Eagle. Also, in your package, you have a copy of an email to me from Mike Zatola regarding the life jackets, the life jacket station at Moon Creek Park. And I'll be following up with him on that email, but wanted you to be aware of that. And that takes us to department committee reports. Again, the monthly sewer report is in your packet from the city. Item B, or item C, rather, the DEA report from Cameron is in your packet, as well as the minutes for the November meeting. Item E, the minutes from the Building and Grounds November 20th meeting is in your packet. Item F, the minutes of the November 19th Planning Commission meeting is in your packet, and we need to take action here for approving the appointment of the Planning Commission liaison to serve a 4-year term in November 20th, 2028. That has been surely for some time. Unless somebody else strongly wants to take that over, I'm going to recommend that we appoint Shirley to that position. And so we need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Yachinsky, second by Stady, to approve the supervisor's recommendation to appoint Shirley Ball as the Township Board Liaison to the Planning Commission to serve a 4-year term ending November 20th, 2028. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item G, you have in your packet the zoning administrator's report. Item A is the approval of the application for the residential land use permit form. And then item B is the approval of the land use permit form. And copies of those are contained as exhibits A and B.
We have some typos on Exhibit A, and this isn't anything that Tammy could edit to give you a good one tonight, so if we approve this, we're going to have to approve it with that typo being corrected and add the mailing address to this form.
Where's the typo? I didn't see that.
Residential.
On exhibit A.
A.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's do those two separately. Item A, a motion to approve the application for the residential land use permit form.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Motion by Ball, second by Brian Cruz to approve the application for the residential land use permit form. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And then under item B, we need a motion to approve the land use.
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion motion by Dean Cruz, second by Kolomeski to approve the land use permit form. Any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under the Elections Commission, we need to appoint two members, two trustees to serve a four-year term ending November 20th, 2028, and that has been Dean and Brian.
Yeah.
Assuming you two guys are interested in continuing on that, okay. So I'm going to recommend that we appoint Dean and Brian to serve those four-year terms.
I don't think we need your recommendation, just a simple appointment motion by somebody.
Okay, and I'm making that
Okay.
motion then.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Walker, second by, was it Hachinsky, to appoint Dean Cruz and Brian Cruz to serve the four-year term ending November 20th, 2028 on the Election Commission. All in favor of that motion? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item J, the fire department report. You have Jim's report in your packet. Jim, was there anything you wanted to add to that report?
Yes, there was, if I could. If you remember, a few months ago, we applied to the Revenue Sharing Board for a grant request for a Lucas CPR machine. And last night, we found out that they awarded a portion of that request of ours. They awarded us with $7,684.54. That was actually what was left after they distributed the rest of the funds. And so we're a little short, and so tonight I'm here to request the township to pitch in $3,000 towards that Lucas. And the fire department plans on using it. This is the time of year we normally get the $2,000 donation from PCA. So the fire department would like to throw that $2,000 into the pot, along with the auxiliary has agreed to fund the balance of that. When we were looking at this application, it was around $15,000 for one. So we're right around with the request that I have here, the $76.84, the $3,000 from the township, the $2,000 from PCA. And that would be about about $2,400 from the fire department auxiliary is willing to within there. So that will be my request this evening is for that. If not, we're going to have to find, because in our application it says that we only got partially funded, how will we fund the rest of it? And we wouldn't be able to purchase it until we acquired the funds. So with that being said, tonight I would request the board to approve a $3,000 expenditure for the purchase of that Lucas.
Can I make a comment? That is an absolute life-saving tool for the fire department. I mean, it's outstanding CPR done by a machine that humans can't even approach.
Thank you, Ron, because I was going to ask you to tell us again. I remember you spoke about it.
I spoke about it because of the fact that our numbers are down. There's a lot of times when we're on a call, but there's only one or two of us. We're down to 10 on our roster right now. A Lucas is a machine that does compressions on someone when you're doing CPR. Right now, to do CPR, it takes at least 3 people to do CPR. And so if you only have 1 or 2 rescuers there, you get the Lucas on them. It is very much so a life-saving device.
So how much, LUCAS, does that really mean some other words or something?
Yeah, that's the brand name of the machine. Okay, it's a machine that's got a stiff back on it. You slip it underneath the patient. and then you put the machine on top and it straps to that curved piece on the back. The curved piece, and also makes it easier to move the patient when you're doing CPR. When you have to go from the floor to the cot to the ambulance, it has straps on it where you can strap the patient's arms to it so they're not in the way when you're trying to move the patient and so on and so forth. And then you just push a button and it automatically does the compressions. And it will automatically stop for the breaths, when you do the breaths, and then it'll start right back up again.
Where does the training come in for the personnel to be able to use this?
Well, we'll get trained on it. There's a few of those in the county right now. I know that the paramedics at NMR, along with Firefighter Jeffries from the City Fire is an instructor. So, I mean, those would be where we would get the training on it. And we would train on it, once we get the machine and learn how to use it, then we would train on it regularly because we're required to do CPR and AED training twice a year anyhow. So, that's when we would be doing the training.
What piece of equipment will carry that? Your rescue, or
Yes.
is it gonna be put on
It
one
comes
of
in
the?
it comes in a pack, probably about the size of a backpack, a little bit bigger than a backpack. It's in a hard case, and you just pop it out of the case and slip it on the patient, and it just push a button and it goes.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Lucas, what's the name of the machine? I mean,
Lucas.
that's it? CPR device?
CPR device,
Okay,
automatic CPR device.
okay.
I'd make that motion that we,
I'll second it.
3,000.
Okay, motion by Brian Cruz, second by Dean Cruz, to provide the $3,000 towards the Lucas machine for the fire department.
Okay, now, you said you want $3,000 from the township and then also the $2,000 from PCA?
If and when we get 2,000.
Okay, so we better make it for 5 because that PCA money's gonna come in and go into the bank, and we don't have it yet anyway.
Oh, it's gonna come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give me the
The
total.
check comes
amount.
to the township.
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
$5,000 even, or what's?
Yeah, that's fine, because the balance is gonna come out of the auxiliary,
Okay,
the fire department
So then
auxiliary.
we won't disperse that $2,000 when it comes in.
well, we never do, it just goes into their fund and it's
Goes into
captured.
our-
But I'm saying now it's already.
Yeah, it's already spoken for now.
Yep.
And,
So $5,000 for a Lucas CPR machine,
yes.
okay.
So do you want to amend your motion?
I'll amend the motion to $5,000. 3 from the township and 2 from the PCA.
Well, it's all-
So the township
it's
will
all
be
from
doing
township,
5,000.
so once
It's
we
all
get
from
the check,
that.
it's-
Plus, we
it's
don't
in
even
fire
have that
department.
money from
Yeah.
PCA, so.
Tom, you're going to
$5,000.
second that?
I'll second it,
Oh, Dean seconded.
Dean
Okay.
seconded.
Right, you did, sorry. Okay, so we have a motion by Brian Cruz, seconded by Dean Cruz, for the township to provide $5,000 to the fire department to go towards the cost of the Lucas machine. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you very much. Just a reminder, Saturday is our
Yeah.
3rd annual pancake breakfast at the VFW Hall from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. So all is welcome to come and have some good food for breakfast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay,
Need department liaison for the fire department.
yeah, we'll get to that.
That's nice.
Okay, under new business,
Well, go back up to the fire department. It's
oh,
like
yeah,
their
I'm
appointment.
sorry, yep,
We just got
I missed that,
sidetracked.
yep, got sidetracked with the Lucas, but we do have item A there, the appointment of the liaison to serve a 4-year term ending November 20th. And that has been Dean for a few years.
Yep, I'm ready to do it again.
Ready to do it again, okay. Dean, do you attend their meetings?
I attend as many as I can, and a lot of times if they need me, I go right into it.
Okay. All right, so, I will recommend the appointment of Dean, again, as our board liaison to the fire department.
So you're making that motion?
I am, yes.
I'll make it.
Okay, motion by Walker, second by Stady to appoint Dean Cruz as the Township Board Liaison to the Fire Department for a 4-year term ending November 20th, 2028. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that takes us to public comment. Again, any other public comment? Okay, going into new business then. Molly, we have to approve the presented resolution establishing poverty guidelines for exemption from property tax contributions, which is in your packet. Does anyone have any questions of Molly? Or Molly, did you want to speak to that?
It's the same as it has been, other than the income guidelines have changed according to the state's guidelines this year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Let's hold it.
Motion by Steggy, second by Brian Cruz to approve the presented resolution establishing poverty guidelines for exemption from property tax contributions. Any discussion? Okay, Shirley, you want to call the roll on that, please?
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Brian Cruz.
Yes.
Paul, yes. Walker,
Yes.
Stady,
Yes.
Pachinsky,
Yes.
Dean Cruz.
Yes.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, Molly. Drive safe.
Drive careful.
Drive careful.
Watch for deer. Okay, item B. Planning Commission appointments. We had 2 applications for 3 vacancies. Just in case you hadn't heard, Karen Koch is not reapplying this year for Planning Commission. So we have Jennifer Williams reapplying and Don Cook applying for those 2 of those vacancies, and I am going to recommend that we approve those 2.
We need one at a time.
Okay, I will recommend that we approve Jennifer Williams for one of the vacant Planning Commission members.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Also, I'm going to recommend then that we appoint Don Cook to one of those vacancies. And I need a motion to approve that recommendation.
I so moved.
I'll support that.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to approve the supervisor's recommendation to appoint Don Cook to one of the planning commission vacancies. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C, on supervisor's recommendation, consideration of approval of a planning commission member to be their liaison to the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term, starting January 1st of 2025 and ending December 31st of 2027. And I am going to recommend that we appoint Jennifer Williams to that liaison position on the ZBA. Is there a motion to approve that recommendation?
I'll move.
In a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Hachinsky, second by Brian Cruz to approve the supervisor's recommendation to appoint Jennifer Williams as the planning commission liaison to the ZBA for a 3-year term. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, consideration of approval of the appointment of one member with interest in property in the DDA to the DDA to serve a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2028. And there are 2 vacancies, 2 applicants, and I'm going to recommend that we appoint Bhavik Patel to one of those vacant positions. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Kalinowski, seconded by Dean Cruz to approve the supervisor's recommendation of appointing Bhavik Patel to the Downtown Development District, or Authority rather, as a member who has interest in property in the DDA district. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And also, I would like to recommend the appointment of Matt Johnson to that DDA position to serve a 4-year term ending December 31, 2028.
I so move.
A second?
I'll second.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Kalinowski to approve the supervisor's recommendation for the approval of the appointment of
Matt Johnson.
Matt Johnson to the DDA with the term beginning December or January 1st in 2025 and ending December 31st, 2028.
Is that the application that you got today that we
Yeah.
did back?
Yeah.
Because I had heard earlier today that he didn't apply, so.
Yeah, well, we didn't get it here, but he sent it to, I don't know why, to Bob. Or I guess he gave it to Bob at work, and then Bob
Okay.
forgot to turn it
Okay,
in.
just,
It's him.
It is, huh? No, that's Bob.
Oh,
I'm on this one, Johnson.
oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now you confused me, Tom.
Sorry.
Did we have a motion? Yeah, we had a motion for that and a second, and we need to vote. So all those in favor of that recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item E is upon supervisor's recommendation, consideration of approval of the appointment of 3 board of review members to serve a 2-year term ending December 31, 2026. There were 3 vacancies, and we did have 3 applicants for that, and I would first like to recommend Terry Manville for one of those positions, and so we need a motion to.
I'll make the motion for
I'll
Terry.
support.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Hachinsky to approve the appointment, supervisor's recommendation of the appointment of Terry Manville to one of the board of review vacancies. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For a second position on the board of review, I would like to recommend Sue Mark. And
I'll make the motion. So Mark.
Support.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Hachinsky to approve the supervisor's recommendation of the appointment of Sue Mark to the board of review for term ending December 31st, 2026. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And for the 3rd vacancy, I'd like to recommend the appointment of Ruth Skira.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Kalinowski, second by Dean Cruz to approve the appointment of Ruth Skira to the one of the vacant positions on the Cruz, second by Steggy to approve the appointment of Kathy Gutowski to serve a 2-year term on the board of review as an alternate, with a term ending December 31, 2026. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item G is consideration of approval of the presented ordinance enforcement and compliance policy. I don't know if you studied that over before coming, but it's I felt it was pretty thorough. Pretty much covers the bases. And I'm going to make a motion to approve that policy.
I'll second it.
Motion by Walker, second by Dean Cruz to approve the presented ordinance enforcement and compliance policy. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Under item H is consideration of approval of the presented ordinance enforcement officer job description. And again, that was in your packet. The only thing I had a question on that I noted was under criteria of qualification after probationary period must apply to Fido Township zoning and police power ordinances without prejudice. I'm assuming that is would mean that under the police power ordinances, make the contact as opposed to not personally enforcing that,
I don't have that in mind.
you know?
I've got the
It-
compliance
Mine
policy.
reads under, this is, you don't have the enforcement officer?
I don't have what you're reading now.
Really? Oh, I think these were flipped, were mixed up in our packet.
Oh,
It didn't jive with the agenda, the order, so it was, I think it was first before the policy. And when I was going over it, wait, this is out of order here, so I changed it.
yep.
You got it, okay. Yeah, and I'm looking at under criteria of qualification after the probationary period, the fifth bullet point.
What was the question of that, Terry?
It says must apply to Fido Township zoning and police power ordinances without prejudice, maintaining the integrity of the ordinances.
Well, I don't think that means that he takes over the sheriff's duties. But,
Right.
you know, grass, for instance, is a police power thing. High, tall grass, and it's not a zoning issue.
Would it be the ordinances that are not zoning?
Right,
Not the
like,
zoning.
say for example, noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Blighted.
Yeah,
Properties.
like you contact the sheriff's department under a noise violation and that
Yeah,
would
it
be.
doesn't say enforce, it says must apply, and then it just talks about being fair.
Right, just
Yeah.
that you can apply them evenly to everybody.
Yeah, well, and I wanted to make sure that I understood that.
Right.
Yeah,
So if Shirley doesn't bring her trash can in, she's gonna get a ticket.
yeah.
I don't have.
Barney Fife is the lucky.
Okay. All right, after that digression then, I guess we need a motion to approve job description, the ordinance officer's job description.
Okay, discussion and possible action on code enforcement officers' hours, compensation, cell phone, laptop, printer.
No, I'm on
We didn't get to
H, we're not to that one yet.
We're to the one right before that.
All right.
Right before
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
That
support.
we approve that,
Okay, motion by Kalinowski, second by Brian Cruz to approve the presented ordinance enforcement officer job description. Any discussion, any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we're on item I, discussion and possible action on code enforcement officers' hours, compensation, cell phone, laptop, and printer. I guess some of you, but I don't know if all are aware that I've had discussions with Ron after our last board meeting, and he and I and Bob met and hashed out a lot of this. Talked about hours and compensation. We talked about tools of the trade that might be needed. And so I guess to start with hours, I think to start, I'm kind of, after a discussion, feeling like 10 to 12 hours is probably going to be sufficient to start. I'm going to ask Ron how he feels about that, and then I think as time goes on, initially, there's going to be some things, some catching up that he's going to be doing, and it's probably going to require more time initially. Then down the road, it may decrease, but my thought to start with was roughly a 10 to 12-hour work, and I know when we talked about this, Ron said, he didn't want a full-time job.
There's a backlog right now.
Right.
And once the backlog is taken care of and the position is established, the only hours would be when their complaint came in.
Yeah.
And then follow up on that. I don't anticipate that that's going to be, I don't want a 20-hour job or anything. And that'd be a mandatory number of hours that I have to be in the office if there really isn't anything pending to do.
So I guess is a 10 to 12-hour flexibility going to work to start with?
Yeah, we can go from there. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, that's going to be, I guess, would be my recommendation for that, and I don't know.
Is that per week, per month, what?
Per week. Per week, yeah.
And that's a maximum, right?
Yeah.
If I don't need that much time.
Yeah.
He'll have that much time in my neighborhood.
But he'll get caught up, hopefully.
Well, Bob has a lot of stuff established as far as procedures he's used in the past and things that, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel for this position, so that will help a lot.
So I'm going to recommend that in terms of hours. Compensation, we had discussions about that also. And Bob had talked about a range from his experience, what he sees in other municipalities and that. So I'm going to recommend to start an $18 per hour wage for that position. And we talked, the three of us talked about the need for a cell phone to receive complaints. Could also be used for taking pictures, for documentation. I think a cell phone is a much better way to go now than a camera. I know we used to use a camera for that, but here with a cell phone, you can get your pictures and immediately send them in an email or text, whatever. And then a laptop and printer. And I spoke with Ron because my thoughts after meeting, the three of us met, and I got thinking about it, and I thought, geez, an iPad, would serve two purposes, maybe, as far as a computer and a camera, both. But Ron informed me that he's already got a cell phone on his family plan at a much lower cost than what I anticipated for a cell phone. And so I'm thinking, we should just go that route of the cell phone. That way he can receive, that'll be listed, on our website and at the hall and that. So if somebody has complaints, they can call that number. And then you can also use that for documentation purposes. And he's going to need a way to email. And so we're looking at a laptop. I don't anticipate a printer.
There's one in the office there, in Bob's office.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
thinking.
There's, and we've talked about, Bob using, or Ron using Bob's office.
I'm sharing the desk with Molly.
Workstation area, sharing with Molly, because Molly's only in there 2 days a month, and
Isn't there a
so,
third desk in there?
Pardon?
Isn't there a third desk in there?
No, 2 desks.
there
And a
there are
table.
3 desks, but the one is totally occupied by printer and desktop, 2 monitors and desktop.
And then there's a table with documents on it, blank documents.
Yeah, and then the desk that Molly uses. So that's, I guess that's my recommendation. Oh, and I was gonna say also that maybe we, like we have with a number of positions, that we do a probationary period, either a 60 or 90-day probationary period, and then reevaluate all of that. So, looking for some direction from the board at this point.
I'll make a motion that we go on your recommendation, 10 to 12 hours a week, $18 per hour salary, a laptop, a cell phone, use the printer in Bob's office, and 90-day probationary period.
Okay, and you told me, Ron, I don't remember, it was 60-something.
$62.
$62 monthly is his cost for this additional cell phone line. Okay, so Brian's got a motion. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Dale Kalinowski, to approve a 10 to 12 hour week to start, $18 per hour compensation, cell phone at a cost of $62 per month, and the purchase of a laptop for Ron, and then the use of Bob's office and the printer in there. Did I get it all?
90-day probationary.
Oh, yeah, and a 90-day probationary period. Okay. And you seconded that?
I did, yes.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Any other discussion?
I just think that should get Bob or Ron up and running, no?
Yeah, that should be good.
I don't know, Ron, is there a little spot that we can get a desk in there for you in that room?
Molly doesn't really have much of anything on that desk.
Usually when she's working in there, she's working at Bob's computer quite often.
She's only there 2 days
A month.
Yeah.
a month, so that shouldn't be an issue at all.
Okay, as long as you got room in there.
Yeah, there's enough room.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And before I forget it, Ron, at some point, just not tonight, but anytime in the upcoming days, touch base with me on one of the items that we've discussed quite a bit. Because I did go do a second visit here about a week or so ago. Where am I? Item
Item
K.
I, which is now
Sorry.
J.
Item J, consideration of approval of the presented DDA engagement agreement from Latitude 44 and Order Timber of Oswika for a period of January 1, 2025, ending December 31 of 2025, in the amount of $25,000 should be paid in 4 equal payments as specified by the contract.
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I will second that motion. So there's a motion by Steggy, second by Walker to approve the DDA's engagement agreement with Latitude 44 for January 1 of 2025 to December 31st of 2025, in the amount of $25,000 to be paid in 4 equal payments. Any discussion? Discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we need to do a roll call vote, sure.
Stuckey,
Yes.
Wojciechowski,
No.
Kalinowski,
No.
Dean Cruz,
No.
Ball, no. Brian Cruz,
No.
Walker,
Yes.
okay, 5 noes and 2 yeas.
Okay. So I guess, I'm not sure. I'll get some legal interpretation on this. That takes us to item K, consideration of approval of a request from Linda DeVries to renew her recreation center rental agreement for a 1-year period beginning January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025, offering jazzercise dance exercise classes 3 days per week at a cost of $160 per month. I think in the past we've done a 3-year agreement on this?
No,
Or 2 years?
usually
Has it always
every
been
year.
1? Okay. Oh, I know it was, but this agreement has I think, if I remember right, a clause for termination. And I did have some discussion with Linda, and I guess she, because her group fluctuates somewhat, and she's not sure how much longer she's going to be doing this, and so she may want to terminate that contract if she doesn't have.
Yes, I saw that there was a clause in there
Yeah.
now for that.
So,
I'll make
yeah,
the
2
motion.
month notice.
I'll make the motion, we approve that 1-year.
I'll
period.
support that.
Okay, motion by Kalinowski, support by Brian Cruz to approve the jazzercise rec center rental agreement with Linda DeVries for 1 year at a cost of $160 per month. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, and then that takes us to item K, consideration of approval of the presented resolution establishing poverty guidelines for,
And we did that right at the top there with Molly.
oh yeah, we did, that's right, yep. Thank you. Cross it out. So that, I wondered why I still had 2 Ks in here. Item L, consideration of approval of the Fido Township, Anniston County Road Commission for road preservation project, with the township contributing 1/2 of the total cost. And you've got that in your packet, basically what Brad presented to us last month. discussion at the last board meeting. I guess I'm going to recommend that we eliminate one item on there, and that would be that one short little section of Page Road at a cost of $24,796.53, or our cost, township cost on that. Since it would be a 2-inch overlay preservation, it would be double that. But that's my recommendation, and that brings that total road preservation work for next year up to $211,474.98.
Which
And
is,
can I do this all of these in 1 year?
Yep.
It's our cost, 211.
Yeah, $211,474.
I'll make a motion that we
I'll support.
support that on your recommendation, eliminating Page Road.
Probably should have somebody double check my figures, but that's,
No, I'll just
What I
write it here,
calculated.
minus the Page Road
yeah,
project.
yeah.
Terry, I believe there's something that we could work out with the county on that little bit of Page Road, not do any kind of asphalt laying, but
He said just
some
let it
kind
go
of
with
stone and some kind of tar.
Yeah, you did talk about that, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get away a lot cheaper, so.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a lot less than a 2-inch overlay.
To look at that in the future.
Okay. Did we get a second on that? Brian made the motion?
The motion and this Cruz is second.
Oh, okay. Dean second?
No.
Okay, all right. Any discussion, any other discussion on that? Okay, Shirley, you want to do a roll call, please?
Walker,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Stady,
yes,
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Paul, yes.
Okay. And item M is consideration of approval of mileage and accommodations for the township assessor to attend the December 17th, 2024 Tax Commission meeting in Okemos, Michigan. Again, we already talked about what that is about before, so we just need to
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll support it.
motion by Steggy, second by Brian Cruz to approve the cost for mileage and accommodations for our township assessor to attend that December 17th, 2024 State Tax Commission meeting in Okemos. Any other discussion on that?
That was for mileage and
And
Accommodation.
lodging,
accommodations.
yeah. Yeah, that meeting starts at 9
Yeah.
in the morning, so should probably go down the night before, so have that expense. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item N is consideration of the proposed contractual services agreement whereby the County of Manistee agrees to provide the necessary personnel and computer services for tax map and assessment roll maintenance, tax rolls and tax bills under current legal requirements to the Charter Township filer for the 2025 calendar year at a cost of $4.65 per parcel.
Nice to move.
I'll support.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to approve the agreement with the county for assessment roll maintenance and et cetera, et cetera. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item O is consideration of proposed contractual services agreement for summer tax collection between Manistee County and Filer Township, whereby the county agrees to provide the township with the necessary personnel, materials, equipment, and technology to prepare the summer tax billings for the state education tax 2025 collection at a cost of $1 per parcel.
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion by Kalinowski, second by Dean Cruz to approve the agreement with the county for the collection of the summer taxes, state education tax, at $1 per parcel. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item P is consideration of approval of a resolution of the Charter Township Fire Board of Trustees pursuant to resolution number 2001-06A and 1954 Public Act 188 as amended, redetermining the total cost of services for the year 2024 and directing the supervisor to extend such costs upon Horizon Point Special Assessment Roll.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ball, second by Dean Cruz, to approve the resolution extending costs for 2024 to Horizon Point. And I see that's the amount of $11,226.56. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you do. Yep, resolution. Okay. Go ahead.
Ready? Walker,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Ball, yes, Deggy,
Yes.
Pachinsky,
Yes.
Dean Cruz.
Yes.
Okay. Any other business to come before the board tonight? Tom, do you have anything?
Nothing right now.
Brian?
Nothing.
Tom?
Anything happening on the thing on Nelson Street down there? Captain's.
Bob had communication from Safe Harbor LLC, I want to say probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, via email. But from what I've seen, nothing has happened. The email, I don't remember exactly what the gist of it was. He was going to serve notice that they had to vacate the property, and he wants to start doing improvements there. But I still see vehicles there.
Is that Nelson?
Yeah,
There were 3 vehicles in there today.
yeah.
I think they're utilizing some of them little cabins that were abandoned for years.
So that'll continue to be worked.
Poor Ron.
There goes 12 hours.
That's what I said, in my neighborhood, he's gonna be busy.
Okay, sure, we got it. Dale?
No.
Steve?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Are we supposed to act on our property with DDA? So that this developer can get started if that's what they're gonna do?
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, I wanna find out from the board if there's any interest in transferring ownership of our 20-acre parcel to the DDA, so that that process can at least start. The DDA, there are tools that can be used through the DDA to enhance the development of that property, tools that we don't have access to. Little River Holdings just sent an email with an attachment, I think it was the day before Thanksgiving, an agreement, but what it really looks more like is a feasibility study. some of the studies have already been done there. They want, and I don't remember everything they had in there, but there's a number of things. But anyway, to break it down, they want 180 days to explore, to search financing, and all of that sort of thing. And 180 days to do that. There was a lot of discussion at the DDA about that, and right now, it's been forwarded to our attorney and to the DDA's attorney, and they're going to try to, I know Richard replied that he could have it reviewed prior to the January meeting for recommendation. That's something that, according to Little River Holdings, the two actions need to be taken by January. And that one is the transfer of the property to the DDA, and the other being signing an agreement with Little River Holdings. So,
And what's the con of transferring it? What does the township lose? Anything? Can we capture what we got invested in? What do we
We
got?
don't know yet. We haven't seen the paperwork.
Yeah, I
Is there
think-
an offer of any kind of a?
I think there's some questions that need to be answered and discussions that need to be had with the attorney first, Brian.
Because we got like, what, 60 grand in it or something,
Yeah, something in that neighborhood.
40 to 60, something like that.
Yeah, you know, the property itself, we have 25,000 into, but then we had the studies done,
Yeah.
and the DSA and the attorney costs and
Surveying.
surveying
Sewer
costs.
assessment that we paid on it for years.
Yeah, and the other thing that needs to be addressed also is the right of first refusal that Dr. Balaban has on that property, that agreement that we signed with him.
That should have been taken care of a long
I
time
don't
ago.
remember where that's at, about 7 years out probably. It was a 10-year, I know it was a 10-year agreement.
Well, it was a 10-year agreement?
Yeah.
When he was here, we should have talked to him about that and got it straightened out.
Well, I don't know that we were ready to do that yet, you know. Little River Holdings was just here telling us about it then.
But I understand that, no matter who we deal with, that's in there.
It is.
It's got to be taken care of, no matter
It's
who
gonna
comes
have
in
be
to
done.
develop.
Yeah.
Or-
And I've had those discussions with Richard going back to when we did that initial agreement with Gearlings.
It was there, he keeps saying, don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, but we have to. So anyway, that's, I guess, what are your feelings as far as, giving up ownership of that property, whether it's through, donation to the DDA or selling to the DDA or whatever. One thing that I know we talked a little bit about is, a time period in there whereby if nothing happens, it comes back.
Well, wasn't that the whole thought behind us doing this way? To speed up this process?
Yeah, yeah,
Because of some of the deadlines that you just
Yeah.
mentioned.
yeah.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about is with this first right of refusal, if we do put a price tag on that piece of property, and I don't mean a big one, but they paid $300,000 for what they bought, and we've given them a whole lot more. We can use that money for road improvements in our township. Or we could use it for something else. It's still gonna be, it's township, it's all township, so it's nobody's losing per se, or transferring funds. I'm not against giving them the property, but I certainly don't want low-income housing going in there. And I don't think they want it, the DDA, I'm not sure they don't want it.
No, they don't.
But we gotta make sure that that doesn't happen. And I guess this board would like, I think we would all like to have the control over that.
Well, and that, Kathy, we talked about that at DDA today. You know, I brought up that concern that we have to retain some power in terms of what goes in there. We need, we need some sort of a bond agreement in there that isn't in there. And, you know, when we brought that up, and Bob had some things he brought up too for discussion, you know, Tamara looked at it and said, this really isn't a development agreement, it's a feasibility, more of a feasibility study. So she is, you know, again, she's going to be talking with BizDoc about it, and then she talked about getting in touch with Susan Wenslick with Fishbeck, you know, because she's up on what's, you know, financing availability through different options, and so, but what they presented when I got that email and read that agreement, I just looked at it and thought, this is just too loose. There's not, you know, but it's like 180 days. And then at that point, they would determine, yeah, we can handle this project, we can do this project, but at that point, there'd have to be done something coming back to the township and or the DDA in terms of, you know.
Well, at that meeting we had, wasn't it sometime in the middle of next year that they would be making a decision, or that's when they would be doing?
I thought August, yeah. But they needed a decision by January so they can start pursuing these other, getting the work done, whatever that they need to do to get questions answered by August. I think that had to do with funding.
So what exactly in January do they want us to tell them?
Well,
What
they
we're
want
going
to know, I think,
charge
you
for
know,
it, or-
if that they can assume ownership of that property one way or another.
Oh.
And I guess, you know, I didn't mention it at DDA, but it was going through my mind, we need some consultation on this, probably with Richard, and then we may have to have a special meeting before our January meeting in order to be able to provide that answer. But I guess I just wanted some indication to begin with of whether we're open to exploring that or not.
I don't want to do anything until I see what Richard has to say about it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I haven't seen anything paper-wise, what they're
Yeah, I think
proposing.
we're open to it, you know, we're all open to it, but we
Yeah.
want to see,
But we've got to be protected.
absolutely, yeah. So
Well, we
we
gotta
have to
make
see
sure if we're gonna do
what they're
that,
offering and
it's gonna go the way we want it to.
It'll go like River Street.
I don't
We
want to
changed
like
their
River.
Well,
zoning.
that's
We
come
changed
up.
their zoning there.
And he's right, every time you
Yeah.
come across the bridge, you
Yeah.
look down there and go.
To have
There's the
form-
development.
We spent a lot of time on rezoning that, or addressing ordinance changes and that.
with that form-based zoning, you know,
Yep.
it's, leaves it rather open to things that weren't available to them before. So we only have so much that we can say that we want to go in there, as long as we put it in zoning already that it can.
So I guess what I'm hearing, my interpretation of what I'm hearing is that you're open to exploring that, but you need answers, you need some
Yeah, we need the details.
details, some protection, some, I guess, guidance from legal counsel first, and we can, you know, I've had just a brief discussion with Richard about this particular, with the LLC, with Little River Holdings, and I will have more discussion with him, and we'll go from there.
Terry, could you send that contract or that feasibility thing to the board members, like now? A copy that we got tonight?
Yeah, I've got a hard copy of it, I'll just forward that email. I didn't even look to see who all that went to, I guess it just went to EDA.
It didn't go to, I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, I think just Tamara got it. But what concerned me, and I don't think I should speak, but is, they formed a new company, a new corporation.
Yeah.
In their contract.
Yeah,
That was formed in November, so that was,
yeah, I can't remember the name of it now, but we didn't.
that's something for Richard to look at.
Yeah, and somebody at EDA said they Googled that,
Yep.
so I'll forward that email to all of you that has the attachment with this,
Feasibility.
yeah, well, the agreement in it, yeah. And you can read it over and then, let me know concerns, questions, whatever, and Richard has seen it, so I'll have some discussion with him about it. Any questions, concerns you got regarding that for Richard, send them to me and I'll get them to Richard then. Okay? And I think that's all I have. Yeah, that's all I have. So, motion for adjournment.
That's so moved.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to adjourn. All those in favor?